This is Taiwan Insider, a weekly news magazine brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.
Every week, we bring you an inside look at the biggest and most interesting stories coming out of Taiwan. I'm Shirley Lin. I'm sitting in for Andrew Ryan, who is on vacation this week.
And I'm Natalie So, and here's your week in a minute.
The KMT has announced a change to its primary rules so that all potential candidates will be included. This includes candidates who have not declared they will run. This move will put Kaohsiung Mayor Han Kuo-yu in the running, even though he has declined to run under existing rules. President Tsai is calling for unity within the DPP as the party faces a divisive primary contest. Both Tsai and former Premier William Lai are vying to become the party's presidential nominee. In a radio interview, Tsai said she and Lai should work together instead of leaving party supporters worried. Taiwanese golfer C.T. Pan has won at the RBC Heritage Tournament. Pan is the first Taiwanese golfer to win a men's PGA title since 1987. Taiwanese weightlifter Guo Xingjun has broken 3 world records at this year's Asian Weightlifting Championships. This is the 3rd time she has brought home 3 gold medals from the championships. Researchers in Taiwan have developed an AI-powered device that can help detect signs of depression. It works by detecting a patient's brainwaves. The device could be available to doctors as early as 2021. And that's your week in a minute.
Every week at the top of the show, we each come up with a word that we think describes the week. So, Shirley, can you guess my word?
Okay, I'll try.
Begins with a C.
Change.
That's right. Very good.
Change. Oh,
okay,
wow.
So I think there's a major change in the KMT. They're changing the way that they choose their presidential candidates so they can accommodate politicians like Kaohsiung Mayor Han Kuo-yu. Also, the government wants to change the way that we drink, okay, by banning plastic straws. That's coming up. I'll be talking about that later on in the show. And also, we'll be talking with a guest who wants to change the way that women are represented in film. So those are some of our topics for today.
All right, well, my turn. So you can guess my word.
Super? Surreal? Surprise? Surprise? Really?
Surprises.
Really?
Yes, I think there's been a lot of surprises this past week. With all the changes in the election, you know, the KMT, Han Kuo-yu was saying that he's not running, and that was kind of a surprise. But although, you know, he could have been one or the other, everybody was wondering. And Terry Gore is running, and
that's
just a lot of different surprises. Yeah, so I don't know, but mostly political, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of interesting, it's very dramatic here in the political scene. We'll be talking about some of the interesting things that are happening in the world of politics. Coming up on today's show, we'll be talking about the upcoming ban on plastic straws and also the goddess Mazu and how a lot of top politicians are trying to be close to her. Also, we'll be talking to the founder of Film EQ, a new initiative that's promoting gender equality in film in Asia.
Plus, do you know where this sea of clouds is? Now,
That's
isn't that
beautiful.
pretty? I know. Have you ever seen something like that before?
I have in different parts of the world, but not exactly like that. No.
Oh,
It's beautiful,
okay.
the lights and everything.
Right. Well, this was in Taiwan. But we're going to get to that at the end of when we come to the parting shot.
But now our focus of the week is on Earth Day. The world celebrated Earth Day this week, and Taiwan is trying to do its part in cutting out its use of plastic. In 2002, we began banning plastic bags in 7 industries, and last year, that ban expanded to 14 industries. So since those bans, we've cut the use of plastic bags by 25%, moving from 20 billion bags a year to 15 billion. That's still a lot of plastic.
Yes, that is still a lot of plastic. But anyway, on Earth Day, 18 night markets, hospitals, and schools and other organizations, they've begun a 6-week no plastics campaign. And then on July 1st, Taiwan is going to start the no plastic straw ban. And some places have already gotten a head start. So let's have a look at this video.
Plastic is a major environmental hazard.
Starting July 1st, Taiwan is banning plastic straws for in-house drinks at schools, department stores, shopping centers, government agencies, and fast food chains. This is just the start of the plan to ban all plastic straws in Taiwan by 2025. One fast food chain, McDonald's, started their ban on Monday, April 22nd, Earth Day. Its 75 stores in Taipei are not providing plastic straws. One customer says it's a good idea because it will help cut plastic use. Another says he'll get used to drinking without a straw. By the end of June, all 379 McDonald's across Taiwan will be straw-free. They say it will cut their plastic use by 16%. So why is Taiwan banning plastic straws? That's the topic of today's Taiwan Explained. In today's Taiwan Explained, I'm going to explain the upcoming ban on plastic straws and what people can use instead.
All right, Natalie, you've got exactly 60 seconds.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Go.
All right, so plastic is non-biodegradable. That means it's harmful to the environment. And straws are often discarded and not recycled. Now, most of our plastic waste ends up in the ocean. The UN says that there's going to be more plastic waste in the ocean than fish by 2050 if we don't change our ways. Now, in the ocean, they become microplastics, they harm marine life, and they poison our food chain. And this is a video of a sea turtle that had a straw stuck up its nose, and it went viral because it showed the pain that turtles go through if that happens. And they took it out, and this helped to fuel the movement against plastic straws. Taiwan uses 8 million plastic straws a day, and on July 1st, they're going to be banned in 4 sectors, including the public sector, fast food chains, schools, department stores, including 8,000 stores. And what alternatives do we have? Well, we're going to have straws made out of titanium, steel, sugar cane, I'm overboard. Let's see a few more.
All right.
Bamboo, cornstarch, glass and paper, or you can drink from the cup.
Well, time's up. Well, thank you, Natalie. And that was Taiwan Explained for this week.
Hey, Shirley, guess what I got here? Remember these from the 90th anniversary of our station?
Yes,
they
I do
gave
remember.
us steel straws, a thick one and a thin one. I think these are so cool, and they come with their own, cleaners. So you don't have to worry about them getting dirty.
Right. They're probably the best.
These are
kind.
great.
Yeah.
And a little thing to hold them in.
Right.
Have you started using yours yet?
Not exactly, but I will. I will get to it.
July 1st.
Right. Yeah, and look what I got. I got these ones that are made of silicone. And, they're flexible. And so it also comes with a brush. You wash it. I used it once. It's kind of convenient. Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
just carry it. It's not that heavy to carry in your bag.
So there's so many options out there. I mean, I like to drink from the cup, but these are for people who need a straw. You can carry it with you on your own. All right, so let's go to our next segment, Taiwan by Number.
In today's Taiwan by Number, we're talking about the Mazu procession that takes place every time around this year. Now, UNESCO has called it one of the intangible cultural heritage, and Discovery Channel has called it one of the world's biggest, 3 biggest religious festivals. But who is Mazu? Well, she apparently was born with an ability to predict the weather and to protect the fishermen, especially sailors and all that. So all the fishermen really worship her a lot. But I want to ask Natalie a question.
Okay.
All right. So can you guess how old Mazu was when she became deified, became a goddess?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea.
Guess.
30?
Okay.
It's a nice number. Nice age.
Well, we're going to watch a video before I come back and tell you if you were right.
Okay.
At 1:20 in the morning, 10,000 worshippers gather at Baisatun Gongtian Temple in Miaoli County to kick off the annual Mazu pilgrimage. Former Premier William Lai, who's vying for the ruling party presidential nomination, helps bring the Mazu idol out of the temple to a palanquin. She and her worshippers travel down south over 9 days, making stops at over 60 temples along the way in 4 different counties. Worshippers bow as they see the procession approach, and Mazu stops to give blessings to her followers. Mazu is worshipped by fishing communities and believers throughout Asia. Processions like this one have been held in Taiwan for over 200 years. Baisatun's Mazu procession passes through Miaoli, Taichung, Zhanghua, and Yunlin over 3.5 days. She then meets up with the Dajia Mazu in Taichung on the 4th day. The entire pilgrimage covers about 300 kilometers. UNESCO has listed Taiwan's Mazu procession as an intangible cultural heritage, and the Discovery Channel says it's one of the 3 largest religious festivals in the world.
All right, Natalie, you were close. The answer is 28.
I was close. And
Yeah.
that's a nice age. Very young for a
Very
goddess.
young, right? I guess that she can do a lot more for the people, I guess.
More energy
you know?
when she's young, right?
Right, exactly. So this 9-day procession, it's very, very important. It is believed that praying to the goddess of the sea can bring good fortune for the whole coming year. So she is really popular with fishermen, but also with presidential hopefuls,
That's
as we
right.
can see in this coming video. Now that's Terry Guo, Taiwan's richest man and the founder of Foxconn, which is the company that makes iPhones, right? He is a big believer in Mazu. He actually spent his childhood living in a wing of the Mazu temple in Banqiao. Actually, that's where he was also born. When he entered the presidential race last week, he said Mazu told him in a dream to run for president.
Yes, and that's been the talk of the town. Now, other presidential hopefuls, like former New Taipei City Mayor Eric Chu, are joking and saying, well, Mazu never talks to me about politics. And there have been other politicians, just like we saw in the video, William Lai. He had escorted Mazu to her palanquin. And even our very own President Tsai, she participated in the procession, as did our Taipei Mayor, Ko Wen-je. So they're all trying to get very close with this very popular goddess. Next, let's take a look at what's trending on social media. On hashtag Taiwan, we take a look at what has been trending on social media this week. Now, last Thursday at around 1 p.m., we had a magnitude 6.1 earthquake in Taiwan. It was about a level 4 earthquake here in Taipei. Quite a big one for us here in
yes.
Taipei. Do you remember it?
I do remember.
Were you nervous? Scared?
Yeah, first time ever. You know, I'm so used to earthquakes, but this was scary.
Yeah, we were on the 3rd floor and we were kind of shaking.
Yeah, left to right.
So, but interesting. There were some really popular tweets about the earthquake, such as this one.
Yes, Ronnie Ferguson happened to be at the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall when it happened, and she was watching the changing of the guards, and she tweeted this.
Yeah, it shows everyone evacuating, but what was really interesting was that the guards were changing just at that time, and they did not move. I mean, they moved. They just did what they're supposed to do. They didn't evacuate. And people were so impressed. There are over 68,000 views here that they just kept on doing their job.
Amazing. How you can do that when it's shaking so hard, right?
Yeah. And this was also a very popular video last week. It got about 80,000 views. It was a video of the damper in the Taipei 101, which weighs 660 tons. And it moved the most it ever did during an earthquake last week. It moved 20 centimeters. Now, the most it's ever moved is 100 centimeters, and that was due to a typhoon.
Now, Mazu telling Terry Guo to run for president has also been a hot topic in Taiwan. This is actually just an imaginary line dialogue, but has been viewed over 16,000 times. Now, what it is a dialogue between Taipei Mayor Ko Wen-je and Mazu. And Mayor was, he has not announced that he will run for president, but he is considered a potential candidate. So he asked Mazu, how come I walked 8 days and, you never, talked to me in a dream, but then you told Terry Guo to run for president? And then Mazu answered, because you never sleep.
Okay, there's also a popular one with Terry Guo talking to Mazu. And here, Terry Guo asked Mazu, are your feet sore? And she says, why? Well, because I've been chasing you in a dream. You told me to run for president. And then she says, now you're really dreaming, Terry.
That's a funny one,
So
too.
that's this week's hashtag Taiwan. Be sure to follow us on all relevant social media and leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Next up, an initiative promoting gender equality in films in Asia.
Her name is Louise Watt, and she's the founder of the website Film EQ, which rates films based on how well women are represented in them.
The test is an international barometer called the Bechdel test. Now we have a highlight from my interview today with the founder of Film EQ, Louise Watt.
So the Bechdel test is actually a very simple test, very memorable. It has 3 criteria. Number 1, a film must have at least 2 female characters with names.
With names. That doesn't seem too hard.
No, who talk to each other.
They talk to each other. They don't just stand there and look beautiful.
No. And the subject has to have absolutely nothing to do with a man.
Oh, their dialogue.
Yes.
So this seems like a fairly easy test.
It does, doesn't it?
I mean, it's fairly low bar for a woman to be fairly well represented, right? But how is it going in Hollywood films and films in Asia? How many do pass this test?
Well, according to the data that's available, and there are websites that look into this and people contribute to the studies, and actually I would say on average for a year, from about 50% to 65% of Hollywood films pass this test.
So you're trying to change that, right, through your website. Tell me what your website is doing.
So our website is testing Asian films. So we're launching with a Chinese language version. We have a database of films and we're using the Bechdel test to test them. So each film in the database will say if it passes or fails the Bechdel test. It can have some other comments as well about why it passes or not. And we have Asian films in there, not just Chinese language films. At the moment we have Thai films, Japanese films, Korean films. And we want to, with this website, raise awareness of this issue.
I think women like to see themselves presented in a very multidimensional light, right? Also as strong and smart and courageous and not just as love interests or whatever. What do you think about the way that women have been portrayed throughout the years in film, how that has affected us as women?
Well, it's interesting because if you don't have role models to aspire to, then I think that is quite limiting. And role models, of course, can be real people. They can be real presidents, prime ministers, and so forth. But the entertainment industry has such a powerful influence on society. It's hard to overstate how powerful its influence is. So to have strong female characters is great for the advancement of society. And again, there's some interesting research, and this is what the Gina Davis Institute did, one of their pieces of research. They found, if you remember the X-Files and Dana Scully, now she was one of the few intelligent, not there just to look pretty female scientists on television. And their research found that 2/3 of American women who are in the STEM field, so science, technology, engineering, maths, they actually say Dana Scully was their model.
Wow.
So they saw her.
That's a lot.
So they saw her on TV and thought, oh, I can do this kind of career too.
That was Louise Watt, the founder of Film EQ, a new initiative that promotes gender equality in Asian films. You can find out more about that website in our link below. Also, you can check out the full interview on Taiwan Today on RTI English's YouTube channel. But now let's go back to our parting shots. We had a photo that we showed you at the beginning of the show. Let's take a look again at that photo.
Yes, do you have any idea what this is?
I mean, I think it's central Taiwan, right? It reminds me of Ali-san or something somewhere around that area
close again.
where all the mountains are.
Right. Well, let's have a look at a video about this.
Wow,
So this was taken at Dalunshan in Nantou County in central Taiwan. It's an evening shot of a sea of clouds. Well, this is all taken time-lapse, right? The clouds form when humidity moves in, brought on by northeasterly winds and a cloud system from southern China. So a sea of clouds results when the cloud system meets up with a cold front. Now, isn't that beautiful? The lights are coming
beautiful.
from the houses in the villages. So that's why people are calling it glazed glass, just like the stained glasses that you find in church windows with all the different colors. So that's the whole idea.
It's a beautiful phenomenon. Thanks for that shot, Shirley.
You're welcome.
Thank you for tuning in to Taiwan Insider, and do leave a comment below. We would love to hear from you.
And be sure to connect with us on social media. For Taiwan Insider, I'm Shirley Lin.
I'm Nally So. See you next week.